Welcome to Fort Worth 148's podcast, where we meet to discuss Masonic topics and strive to build value in the Brotherhood. The opinions and statements of the participants do not represent any positions or stance of any Grand Lodge or Lodge and are solely the viewpoints of the participants. My brothers, this is Rhit Moore, past master and current secretary of 148, and seeing that you are entirely destitute of all Fort Worth 148 podcasts every other Thursday, I present you this. I had some thoughts during a degree the other day that I wanted to share with you about ritual focus, and I'm not talking about memory work focus. I'm talking about the mental focus during the degree, and not just for the officers or the brothers that are performing the degree, but also the guys on the sidelines. That focus, needs to be honed in on that candidate that's going through the degree. And if there's somebody that loses focus and it becomes, for instance, the guy conferring the degree catches somebody in the lodge room checking their phone or something silly like that, or just yawning maybe, or looking into space, that's going to affect that guy in a way that's going to take the degree down a notch. But if everybody's focused in on that candidate and there's a real effort to make it a special moment for him, that's going to affect the guy conferring that degree in such a way that's going to lift his game up a little bit, and in turn hit all the other officers that are performing in the degrees, or brothers that are performing in the degree, and ultimately affect that candidate. And to give you an example, we had a master's degree the other day where we all came in our uniforms, typical uniforms that we wear for our degrees, which is all black suit, black shoes, black shirt, tie, the whole get up. And with the white leather apron, it looks really sharp. We'd practice. Everybody knew their parts, even well enough that they had a little cadence, a little theatric spin on their ritual work, which really helps feed each other. I know Billy Hamilton, who played senior deacon in the degree of the masters, he came up and I was conferring the degree, and he was presenting the candidate in such a way that it just got me fired up, and it took my game up a notch. And we started feeding everybody in the room, and that energy kind of all culminated, for me anyways, towards the end of the degree, to where you get those goosebumps, the hair on your neck stands up, and you just realize in a blink of an eye, snap of a finger, all the work that went into this degree and all the effort that these individual brothers put in to make this a special moment for that candidate. And as soon as I felt that energy, I noticed in our candidate that 1,000-yard stare that he was feeling the same thing. This was a special moment for him. And even after the degree was over, we all gathered in the room and we were chatty Cathy, and I left and was motivated and ready for the next degree. And it was a real surreal moment of, without that ritual, without going to lodge and performing that ritual, I wouldn't have gotten that motivation that made me feel better, made me feel proud to be a Mason. And if I would have stayed home, that wouldn't have happened. So in a sense, we created that energy, or that motivation, that got me fired up. And along came our next degree, an entered apprentice degree that I was really looking forward to. Again, we were all dressed sharp in our uniforms. The degree started off, everybody had their cadence, everything was flowing just like it was in the last degree. But somewhere along the way, I was playing junior warden this time, so I didn't have as big a part, but somewhere along the way, I lost focus. And luckily I caught myself kind of quick, but I caught myself sitting there thinking, man, what episode am I on in The Punisher? It was like completely non-Masonic related. And I caught myself and I was like, no, 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 I got to stay focused here on this candidate. And, I kind of did a little mini meditation session to where I thought to myself, how's this candidate going to be affected by this degree? What good deeds could he take back into society if we perform this ritual in such a manner that he feels like it was special to us and it makes it special to him? It adds to it. Any way we can add to that moment, that initiatic experience for that candidate, is going to make it better for everybody in the long run. So, after a little bit of meditating on how that would affect the candidate, it helped bring me back focus on what I should have been. And, I wanted to share that with you, that if you find yourself in lodge, and you will, that it happens to everybody, losing focus when that degree is going on, catch yourself and find a way to kind of get back in focus and in tune with that candidate, because that's his moment. You may have been to a handful of degrees, you may have been to 1,000 of them, but that's his first. And it needs to feel special for him as much as possible, as in any way possible that we can make it feel special for him. We need to perform that. Which there's a lot that goes into that, but I'll just stick to the mental focus on this particular little quick hit podcast. So if you find yourself in lodge, getting a little antsy and thinking about what you're going to eat afterwards or where you're going to go, just remind yourself this is that candidate's first go round, and bring yourself back to center, because whether you believe me or not, I've experienced it. The candidate is affected by the focus of the men in the room. And when that candidate is made the prime focus, I believe the Almighty will fill that lodge room with a motivational energy that can affect every man in the room. You just have to be focused in to receive that energy. Not only to receive it, you got to be focused in to call it in, and then also to receive it. So, make sure that you're doing what needs to be done, whether you're working in the degrees or sitting on the sideline. Your focus matters, brothers. So I won't take up any more of your time. This is just kind of a quick short hit. We had this idea of kind of throwing these in between when we have time. Hopefully we can kind of keep up with it on a somewhat regular basis, because we get a lot of feedback about brothers enjoying it, and so we want to try to bring as much value as we can. Anyways, brothers, you square well, and we'll see you on down the road.